Welcome, Shalaja Bhattacharya. Just wait for a few more minutes and then we'll start. Hi, Rakhi. Hi, Saloni. Hello, Partha. Good afternoon. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to yet another show of Women Shine. Have you ever seen any school children paying plastic waste as their school fees? I'm not. I'm sure nobody has ever even thought of it or ever seen it. But yes, it is happening. It is happening far east at in Guwahati, Assam. So there is this wonderful Assamese couple who has really given a new meaning to plastic waste and redefined the education system. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here with us Parmita Sarma. She's from Akshar Foundation, and she's doing amazing, incredible work in Assam. Before I start on asking you questions, Parvita, I would like to tell you how I got in touch with you. You know, this is a really very nice story about short story about it. You know, like when I launched my magazine, there were certain few set of friends, you know, who keep helping me with certain names. Okay, you just keep sending me videos or names about those people who are doing incredible work. So in the same fashion, one of my friends, she's based out of Goa. She's also a Parna. She sent me your video, right? She messaged me on my WhatsApp, like, look at her
Okay.
work. So I thought, okay, fine. But then it just missed out of her mind. So after 2 days, I again thought, let me just check the video she has sent. So when I saw that video, Parmita, I was really so surprised, shocked to see the work you are doing, and of course, inspired at the
Thank you
same
so
time.
much.
So immediately, I quickly, you know, see the moment when you want to really locate somebody or reach out to somebody, what you do? You go to Facebook or you go to LinkedIn, no? So, see a
Yes.
similar fashion. I went to LinkedIn, connected with you. Then I went to Facebook, sent you a request. Then on Messenger, I also messaged you, and it was thankfully it was a quick response time of yours that you really responded back, and rest is history. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to read more about Parmita, please go to my magazine, go to womenshine.in, visit www.womenshine.in, go to entrepreneurship segment, and there's a sub segment under that which is a shining star. She is a shining star, a sparkling star rather. So you'll read more about her story in that. So now, coming to first question, Parmita, like you have founded this. There is a foundation which is called Akshar Foundation. So we would like to know more about Akshar Foundation and the unique and amazing education model which you have uh, designed so far. So we would like to know about that.
Sure. So we started the school in 2016, and when we started our school, we saw that a lot of kids had to drop out to go work because their parents expect them to start earning from a young age, and they need to work for food. So when we started the school and we had kids dropping out to go to work, we thought that we had to find a way to keep those kids into school. The question was, how do we do that? So at first we thought that maybe we can provide them some money. Like, for example, some kids didn't have lunch money. So we thought maybe we could give them some lunch money so that at least while they are at school, they can afford some food. But then we didn't want them to be dependent on us, because that way you breed dependency. When kids think that, okay, these people are there to give me anything that I want, that's not a
Yeah.
good thing to teach kids. So
Mm.
we thought that maybe we can just employ the students to teach younger students. And by
Okay.
teach, we mean like only for half an hour a day. So if you have like a level 3 student teaching a level 1 student who knows nothing, they just have to help them trace the basic ABCs, but they get paid for that so that they can
Okay.
start earning money. So that
Right.
is how
Right.
we first came up with this idea of paying students to keep them in school. Then we saw that a lot of students, they need a lot more money because they have to support their families. So
Mm-hmm.
that way we started developing the different vocational trainings for the students, so that after school hours the students could learn some skills, earn some money at the same time, and be able to afford to stay in school. Now at our school we group the students by their skills, not by their age. So even if we have a 13-year-old kid coming for the first time, we would test the kid's English level, we would test the kid's math level, and then put them accordingly. So a
Okay.
13-year-old kid, for example, can go to class 4 English, but class 2 math, depending on his or her strength. And when they move from one level to the next, their pay increases. So suppose a class 4 student who is getting like 3 rupees to teach a student for 10 minutes, when they go to level 4, their pay increases by 1 or 2 rupees. So we are also trying to
Okay.
teach the kids the idea of, you learn more to earn more. And when the kids move from one class to the next, the whole class doesn't move together. We track the kids individually. So if
Okay.
one kid is ready to move to the next grade, he or she will move to the next grade and will have more pay. So this way we have a system where we are able to employ keep the children to keep coming to school so that they don't have to go work outside. We are able to pay individual attention to every child, because this way we can have smaller classrooms when we have student teachers. I think my voice is echoing probably.
Yeah, I think you can maybe something is on, maybe some parallel thing is on, therefore it is echoing. But I can hear you properly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So this way we are able to keep the child laborers in school. They're learning skills along with studies, and we are able to pay individual attention to young children. So for example, in middle class families, you have parents who are supporting their kids learning. So they encourage their kids to do homework, they work with them, but poor kids are lacking that. The parents couldn't care less about their education. So we are
Hmm.
able to provide the support that middle class families provide to their kids by employing student teachers, and that is bridging the gap. So we have great results with our young students. They are learning really fast. We have some families where all the siblings come to our school, and the youngest kid is, we would say, we have like one particular kid, and she's probably better than middle class or even elite school students, because she has two
Okay.
siblings at home who teach her every day, and they get paid for that. We also pay the students for helping the siblings at home. So the students are able to learn at a very fast rate, and we're able to bridge the gap that's there between middle class and younger students. So that's the basic idea behind starting this, to provide education to everyone and a means of livelihood. And we are skilling our students. So once they're 18, they will be having some skill set, so that when they
Okay.
start working, or when they have to start working, it's kind of not
Hmm.
optional for them. They're
Yeah.
able to generate good income for themselves.
Hmm. Lovely. I don't know from where did you got all such ideas for this. So now also coming to idea again, I would like to know how you this thing came to your mind that plastics can be, it is instead of school fees you can take plastic as a school fees. How this thing came into your mind?
So we were trying to develop a different vocational training for our students, and we wanted one aspect to be environment, like we wanted them to work on environment. And then we were trying to think of coming up with an idea which the kids could relate to, something that's an issue in their area or their neighborhood. And we learned that they all burn plastic. And in the winter months, because it's not even their fault, you can't even
Yeah,
blame them, because we don't
yeah.
have proper, what are they going to do with the waste, right?
Right, right.
But the issue was that in the winter months, kids would gather around the plastic for warmth. And we had like young children who would be doing that, which is very harmful to their health.
Yes, yeah,
So
it
we
is. Yeah.
thought that this is a way maybe that we can tackle the problem. So we told the students that you have to bring in 25 bags of plastic every week. Now, when we first said that, our parents were not sending it, because you have to put in effort. It has to be clean plastic, because
Yeah.
our older students, they are recycling it after school. So it has to be clean plastic, and they have to make the effort of segregating it. So we were not getting enough plastic. So then
Hmm.
we told the parents that this is a free school. If you want your students to continue in this free school, you either pay fees or you send 25 bags of plastic every week. That's your option. So of course they chose the plastic option, and after that we have had like no trouble, getting plastic. And our
Yeah.
older students, they work in the recycling center after school hours, and they make eco bricks with the plastic.
Okay.
So with
Okay.
the eco bricks, we can do different small kinds of construction. Like we have built pathway connecting our classrooms.
Oh,
We have made a
lovely.
small planter and just small basic things. We're also planning on building a wall. So that way we
Oh,
can, use it for construction purposes also.
yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, like after all this killing and all, these kind of like you're making children environment conscious about it, no? So, what kind of transformation have you seen in your students?
Well, kids learn by emulating adults. So when you have adults behaving well, kids pick
Yeah.
up on that. Even if it's just to impress you, in the beginning it can be just to impress you, but that's good enough, because that's where you make the first start. So our
Mm.
students now tell their neighbors to not burn plastic. They tell their parents. They're aware that it's
Okay.
bad for them.
Yeah.
And we have seen, like, in terms of education, in terms of treating other people, we have seen tremendous change in our students. Like, we have an animal shelter at our school. So a lot of our kids
Okay.
were not good with street animals, because they have always had bad experiences.
Yeah.
But that's not the case anymore, because we have 3 dogs at our school. And in the beginning, even though the kids were not treating them well, okay, so I forgot to mention that when the kids misbehave, they are fined. So they
Okay.
get paid for, for jobs or for good things that they do. But if they do
Yeah.
something wrong, they lose money. So
All
fining
right.
really pinches them. So when they were not behaving well with the dogs, we would fine them, and then they stop the behavior immediately. And now they just love dogs. So when we get puppies, we have like too many kids volunteering to help with the dogs, and
Okay.
we don't have enough dogs. So we think that our behavior of our students have transformed dramatically, because we have that kind of culture in school. We don't make fun of anyone. If you don't know something, we don't say, hey, you don't know this, you're stupid. Not at all. You don't know this, let's learn. So when we have the student teachers and they're teaching the younger students, they have that same kind of behavior. They encourage them. They say, good job when you do when a kid does a thing correctly. So that culture of encouraging people to do better, that's like imbibed in them now because they have been practicing that, and the money also depends on that. So when you are, and so we judge the students based on how effective they are as teachers, their English
Mm-hmm.
level and their math level. So their
Mm-hmm.
effectiveness as teacher comes from how nice they are with the students, how encouraging they are. They don't give answers, they show them how to do it. So we think that our kids are, they're very well behaved, very polite, and they are learning all the right things at school. Like they love coming to school so much that we don't close for summer and winter break. Like we are open the
Oh,
whole year.
lovely, lovely,
But
lovely.
unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to
I
close, of
know, I
course.
know. So
Yeah.
this COVID has must be that it really affected, like how you're
Yeah.
coping up with it.
It has been really bad. Like, I don't know where to begin. Like, first of all, no classes means the kids have to go through, like at their home environment is not really
Yeah.
comfortable for them. There's a lot of abuse. Alcoholism is rampant. So the kids are suffering a lot of mental health issues also because of this
Okay.
COVID. Like we have issues on regular days, but we can deal with them because the school is in session. We are in constant contact with them, which is not happening anymore. A lot
Mm.
of kids don't have cell phones, they don't have electricity. So online classes, we are only able to do it for a select few kids who can afford
Okay.
the gadgets. So
Mm-hmm.
we are also trying to give worksheets to the kids like once a week. Parents come to the school and collect it, and then they submit the worksheet the next week when they come to collect the sheets for the next week. But this is not the solution, like
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like 5% of what we usually do. So it has been
Correct.
pretty bad. Yeah,
Because you're hampering a lot, no, the
yeah, a lot.
entire thing, everything. So,
Yeah.
like, I think you have got a very impressive pedagogy wherein your students are teaching the younger lot. So, how it goes, like in fact, in the photographs, I saw this some tab which you are using. No, they are teaching through that, or how is learning happening over there?
So the students usually do worksheets. So we have like
Okay.
different levels of worksheets. So they go through the worksheet, and like level 4 kid has already done level 1 worksheets like 100 times when they were in that classroom. We repeat
Yeah.
worksheets also. So if you do
All
something correctly once, we don't move on to the next topic, which is what happens in regular schools, right? Like we have a
yeah,
book, we have
yeah.
chapters. Once a kid does that, he moves to the next thing. We don't do that. We keep repeating things till the kids actually understand that. So that
Mm.
helps them, and they have to be teaching the same concept. So they have to know the concepts very well to be able to teach. And for the tablet thing, the students use Khan Academy. So we have offline version of Khan Academy where they do math. So
Okay.
where the kid is teaching with a tablet, the younger students, they don't know how to read English well, but the older kids can. So during matchup where we pair up like one older kid with one younger kid, they use a tablet, they teach the younger kid how to use the tablet and then help them go through the curriculum. And on the
Mm.
tablets also, it's the same system like our school. So a kid goes through like one lesson, then they appear for exams. We see how much they score. If they score, say, above 90% for 5 exams, then the kid gets promoted to the next class. We
All
make
right.
sure that they learn the majority of the concept because like our general idea is that if you get 35% of, in my school it was 36%, it depends, or 40%, you just get promoted. But if you don't understand things well, then eventually you drop out. So if you don't know addition well, how can you do fraction? So we
Mm-hmm.
focus on the kids learning the basics, learning it well so that they can teach others, and then the foundation is strong, so that enables them to learn new concepts and ideas.
So, like, since like you just mentioned that after 18 they are going into skill training and all, so they'll be going for jobs, right? So when you go
So
to a job, apply for a job, you have to give some certificates like what education you have done and all. So do you also have these CBSE or ICSE exams or UP board exam or high school exams, or it
so
is
our
just like
students
you're
are
passing? Like that?
no, so students will appear for NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling.
And
The
iOS,
first
okay.
batch will apply next year, and that also gives us the flexibility because in
Yeah.
NIOS, you can also have solar panel technician as a course, and you get graded for that. So we are
Mm-hmm.
training our kids to be solar panel technicians, and they will have a certificate of that when they pass class 12.
Oh,
So they
that's
will
nice.
have the certification that they require. They're also learning the skills. So it's not that they will just have a certificate and they will have theoretical knowledge. They will know the practical skills. And we will try to get them employed. Like we already have a deal with a solar panels company who will employ our students after they are
All right,
18.
all right,
So
all
we
right.
are hoping that after they are 18, they can work part time and also continue their education, maybe online or whatever suits. Like it will be
Yeah,
different
not,
according to the
yeah,
need of the child.
right.
And at the same time, they can keep earning so that they don't have to work full time. So we are trying to develop that model, and we'll be supporting our kids till they are like financially independent. So it's not that after class 12 we are not our problem. Like we will be
Correct.
supporting them till they are financially independent.
a proper hand holding to a student, no? From
Yes, we are trying to, because otherwise it's pointless, like
yeah,
our
there's no
success
point.
rate is
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
the kids getting great marks in 10th or 12, because there are so many graduates in the country. It's,
Hmm.
you need jobs for them,
Unemployment
it
is
comes
like
back.
anything. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. So we
absolutely.
are focusing on employment. So we have like a school to career pipeline, we will be with the kids from schooling till they are placed in a good career.
So, like you mentioned that you started this in 2016. So, 2016 and to 2020, right? So, what were the
Yes.
initial challenges when you established this, convincing people, no? Like you just mentioned about this plastic thing, right? That you put your convince the parents about it. But there must be some other challenges also you must have faced in starting this establishing. And why Guwahati for that matter? Any specific
Well,
reason
honestly, it
you
was just
belong to
easier
Guwahati?
for us to start in Guwahati, exactly. And in Guwahati, we tried to start in different locations, but we had like a lot of issues in terms of, we were kicked out of a couple of communities because they were supposed to be running Anganwadi centers and they were
Yeah.
not doing that. So then we chose this location because they needed schooling, like where we are in Pamohi, and we had a piece of land in that area. So we
Okay.
thought that if we could use our own land, build up a school, then no one can at least kick us out,
Correct,
like we can at
correct.
least be there for a while. So that was one of the reasons. And yeah, so it was easier to start here for sure. Challenges, well, getting convincing the parents to send the kids to our school was a big challenge. In our first year, we really struggled because like parents did not get the concept of making learning fun. Their idea of school is that you have to beat the kids, you have to force them to do homework. So they did not like our style of
Yeah.
teaching the kids. So we used
Yeah.
to get complaints from parents saying, "Why aren't you beating my kid? The kid stole my 5 rupee note today." But that's not the solution. So it was like really
Yeah.
hard to explain that to them. In the beginning, we used to play more movies so that the kids are interested in. Like we were trying to get the kids to want to be in school. So we
Yes.
used to play a lot of movies like Marvel movies, and then we would have worksheets based on that. So
Mm-hmm.
so that the kids are watching movies, understanding, and then they work on that. But it was difficult to explain that to parents. So that was one of the main challenges. But once the parents saw that the kids are doing really well, after like 6 months, the word of mouth spread, and after that, we had like no trouble getting kids.
So as of now, how many students have you got there in your school?
We in Guwahati, we have 110 students.
110 students. Okay.
Yes.
Lovely. So, how you are making this Aksha Foundation sustainable?
So, well, that's a challenge always. We are now planning to spread into government schools.
Okay.
So we were working actually because of COVID, we had to stop, but we were working in a primary school in New Delhi from nursery to class 5, a government school. And the idea was to implement our full model there. So in Delhi, so we had about 40 kids coming from an orphanage. And the school
Okay.
inspector had told us that you guys need to be careful with this kid because they might actually stab you. Like these kids, their
Okay.
parents have criminal backgrounds. A lot of them don't know their parents, so they have a lot of psychological issues. But
Right.
when we started working at that school and we started paying the kids to teach the younger ones, the behavior completely changed in 2 months because it was the same rules. If you study well, you can teach younger kids. When you teach younger kids, you get money. With that money, you have the freedom to buy what you want. So,
Right. Right.
so that desire made the kids want to reform their behavior. So we had like great results in a very short period of time. We were there from 2018 till 2020 before, like we were there till August, we just had to stop because we couldn't keep affording to pay our tuition when schools are closed.
Mm-hmm.
But we have had like great results and the kids were at their grade level.
Okay.
So now we are in talks with the Gwalior government. So they
Okay.
also saw our video, and one student he connected us to the bureaucrats there who would be facilitating that, and they're very happy with our model. So they are going to give us a. It's just echoing, right? I am thinking it's
No,
not from my side, but I'm not sure because I
no,
don't
it's
have
not
anything.
going.
It's not anymore, yeah. So we are talking with the Gwalior government, and they will give us two schools now from nursery to class 8, and there we will be implementing our full model there because we cannot spread without working with the government, and since we have seen great results with our model, we want to get into as many government schools as possible because that is the only way we can reach every child in India. So in Gwalior, once this thing again gets over, like COVID has like put a halt to every
I know,
plan that we have,
actually. Yes, yes,
and it
yes.
has been really difficult. But the idea is that the government teachers will come to our Assam school. They will train with us for like about 2 weeks, and they will go back and implement our model in their school. And we will have our staff as well there who will assist their teachers in implementing our model for 2 3 years as long as it is necessary. And we
Okay.
are hoping that we can spread from there. So the Gwalior government will also give us the flexibility of grouping the kids by their skills and not by their age. They also want vocational training. Now, apparently, for because of the new education policy, everyone has to have vocational
Yeah,
training. But
yeah.
they said that from class 8 onwards, they will let us do vocational training with the kids. So we are hoping to implement our full model in Gwalior Government School as soon as this COVID is over.
Yeah. In fact, coming from UP, I can also help you in reaching out to here, UP
That would
government.
be
So
great.
you can
That would be
also
great.
have few schools of yours here.
That would be great.
Yeah. So in fact, like you received this prestigious Devi Award in 2019, no? By Smriti Irani, the Minister of Union Minister of Textiles. So can you share about the amazing work which made you got this award?
I think it's the plastic school fees. We actually went viral for the plastic school fees, but that's like a very small segment of our school. But because I
Yeah.
guess it's a different idea that got more focus. But now we want people to look at our whole model because plastic school fees doesn't solve the problem. But
Hmm.
if you're bringing up a generation correctly, that solves a lot of problems. So our
Hmm.
idea in future is that if we can spread into many schools and all the schools are like a community center where they are solving the issues of their community, they are building machines and solving global. Like if every school starts being a center where they're collecting plastic, we can reduce the number of plastic that gets dumped into oceans. If we can
Hmm.
have kids building cool gadgets, like we want to train our kids to be adaptable because we don't know what the future has in store for us. We don't know what the jobs will be 10 years down the line. But if
Hmm.
we can train our kids to be adaptable, maybe they can develop the tools that can solve the global warming crisis or at least help in that process. So we are
Hmm.
hoping that we can convince that to the government and to whoever can actually implement that and get them on board to get students to be the change. Like we are not looking at students to be the solution now. Students are more or less like a burden on the society, but that's not the case. They can do so much more.
Yeah.
So if we can
Yeah.
provide them with the right tools, they might actually be successful in stopping global warming. Like if they
Hmm.
are designing machines that can pick up plastic from the water, we can train them for that. And then if you have every school being a center, they are coming up with creative ways to tackle the environmental problems. Maybe we can make a bigger impact. So that is our goal. Like from now onwards, this pandemic is one of the examples, but this wildfire, earthquake, mass migration, these are becoming the new norm.
Hmm.
And because the way the climate is going, this will continue. So our
Yeah.
idea is to train kids to face the challenges that the world will be facing. We also want to train them for first aid. We're also doing that on a small basis, but on a bigger scale, building shelters and schools so that they can help resettle the refugees in the future. So we
Hmm.
want to get the kids to be adaptable and be ready for the challenges in the future. Like we can't be sugarcoating things anymore. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
we are just not looking at the reality. We are just continuing our education the same way we were doing like 100 years ago. But that's not
Hmm.
the solution. Now we need, and you don't need to memorize things anymore. You have Google. If you
Yeah.
have Google, you have everything. It's so pointless. Schools are still focusing on memorization and replicating that. Like knowledge is not a problem anymore. What we need is to identify what is the correct knowledge, what is the right and the wrong knowledge, and then go from there. Like internet is full of information. It's up to
Hmm.
the kid, it's up to us to know and
Yeah.
identify what are the correct and what are the correct news and what's fake and to work accordingly. So we want
Hmm.
our students to be adaptable, like that is the goal, so that they are ready to face whatever challenge comes their way.
Parmita, looking at you and your young age, it's you have got such a whole, it's a gamut of things you have in front of you where you can really explore things. And I really am sure that you are such a truly example for younger generation who really want to bring an impact in people's life, right? So, like you and Mazen share a common vision, common mission, and common goals, right? So, what is your roadmap for another 5 or 10 years? Because you've got a huge, long road ahead in front of you where you can do so many things, impact so many lives, and cover India, because there's so many states. Now, if you're starting with one or two states initially, you've got a whole thing. In fact, a good roadmap can be there for you. So what have you planned, like, for if you see like maybe 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line? What are milestones which you want to achieve in coming years?
Well, the first thing is education. We want to get into as many government schools as possible, and that's not that easy, because getting into the government sector and convincing the teachers to adopt our model is very complicated.
Very
So,
yes,
yes,
to
it is.
convince these people, no? Yeah.
Yes, and there's a lot of politics involved. So we are hoping that we can actually do that. We can get into the government schools and train the teachers, or get them to adopt our model. Because this way we feel that we can actually have a middle class generation by the time these poor people are ready to start working. Our kids, like our students that we have who are like young students right now, when they grow up, they will be the middle class. They won't be stuck in that vicious cycle of poverty anymore that their parents and their grandparents were stuck in that, because they have the education and the skills necessary to get out of that. So that's our main focus. And then we are still thinking about a lot of ideas, and we also want to work on creating jobs, because now we are very much dependent on the companies and like whoever will hire our students. So we are making our students job ready, but we are also trying to come up with ways where we can create new jobs for our students, so that we have like a direct link between education and employment. So that's the next project that we are already thinking on those lines, but nothing is concrete yet. So we are hoping we can come up with something soon.
Great, great. So, what is this innovative feature of meta teaching which you have in your school? What is that
So
exactly?
method teaching is teaching students how to teach. So a
Oh,
senior teacher teaches student teachers how to teach. That is what we call meta teaching. So we have our senior teacher who has junior teachers under him or her. These junior teachers, they take now the junior teachers. We make sure that we employ them from the community, because so that
okay.
there is a community link as well. So they might not be very educated, but they are very passionate about educating children. So
Mm-hmm.
the senior teacher has the support of junior teachers. The junior teachers have student teachers, and the student teachers teach the youngest kids. So that way we have like levels. It's like a pyramid scheme
Yeah,
where
yeah.
everyone's teaching everyone, and this way we suppose our students they become mothers. Now in a village life, kids get married at the age of 14, 15 years. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reality of the village. And
Mm-hmm.
if they supposedly they get married, but they will know enough, or they will have enough skills to teach their babies, and that
Mm-hmm.
makes a big difference when you have educated parents. So that's what our kids are learning as well. So we are hoping that their next generation will be much better than them, because they will get the kind of environment and middle class families provide at their home, and which should actually make the real change, hopefully.
Lovely, Parmita. I think it was lovely talking to you, and the kind of vision you have. No, that in your, I think this is something incredible. Kudos to your work, the way you are
Thank
doing.
you so much.
Really, and all the best from Women Shine, from all the
Thank you.
people. And I can see a few teachers are also watching your this thing, and I'm sure everybody will be inspired by your work that you're doing, and there'll be more Parmita coming in future. I guess
We
I'm
really
sure
hope.
about it. That's a lovely initiative which you have taken. Uh, all the best. We need such people
Thank
like
you
you
so much.
who have
Thank you.
really great thoughts at such age. It's such a young age. You are thinking of so many things. I feel really, at this age, I'm thinking, and you're such young age, you're thinking so many things. I'm really, very inspired and in fact, I'm really feeling proud also to feature you in our magazine. So I
Thank you.
think it's really very great work, and all the best from Women
Thank you.
Shine for everybody.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
that.
much.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, viewers.